Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to another episode of the Welcome to Arena podcast. It is great to be back. And first of all, I owe you all an apology. My name is Cracked Wisdom, and I have been extremely busy. We've had too many things going on in life for me to be able to keep up with the weekly podcast, so I've let you down. My apologies. But we are back on track, getting that train on the rails to be able to ride our way off into the sunset with the amazing competitive arena action that has been going on recently. There's tons to talk about. And with that much to talk about, folks, the one thing I decided we needed to do, well, we had to get ourselves an expert opinion in. Okay, let's be genuinely honest. It would not be a real competitive arena conversation without another competitive mustache to be able to take the mantle by storm. Hot, welcome in the one, the only legendary hot sauce, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the one who sits on my mythical left or right when we are casting some of these amazing games, and another exceptional wordsmith in his own right. Hort, welcome in. Introduce yourself. Tell the folks at home who you are, what you do, what got you into everything that makes you you in the first place, and, well, thoughts about what you were going to be talking about tonight.
So now it's really cool. I get to stay home, hang out with my family, cast video games for a living, and play them. And so that is how my journey brought me to Crack just a little while ago. What, like a year or two ago, or yeah, about a year or two ago. And so that was when I kind of dipped my toes into the Tarkov scene and haven't looked back.
I may or may not have had a bit of an audio issue there. So, folks, this is why,
Uh
right? This is why you don't update OBS Studio before you go live on a broadcast, right? It's ended up releasing all of my sonar settings, and so you couldn't hear Hort for the first half of that. So apologies. We have fixed it now. Can I just clarify? Can we get a yer or whatever the hell you want to put in the chat to clarify? Can you
oh.
guys hear Hort right now? Can we hear Hort Sauce? Is he audible at this moment in time? So if not, the other thing I guess we better do then is let's do a round the house check. We'll get some. Yeah, we got some yes in the chat. Okay, cool. We got some yers coming in there. Nice, right? So we got Hort. So let's test the rest of the table then, Hort. Okay.
Yeah,
Apologies on the introduction part there, but I think we
no
best
worries,
check
no
in with our
worries.
two outcasts that are coming to talk to us on the table, and it's on the back of a victory. The outcasts, after ironically falling to the epic fails routes that have helped us through some of our processes, we managed to epic fail our way through. Was it 3, 4 losses? Too many losses without putting one on the table. But this week, changed that around. Managed to get the first win on the table, and thanks to some great efforts from two of our players on the main roster. Let's introduce, first of all, above myself, hopefully the halo to help me through the hell. It is Stony Ninja. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth,
Hello.
the legend, and the AK slammer himself. Stony, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about what you do regarding Tarkov and what got you into gaming in general.
Hello, my name is Stony Ninja. I originally started playing Tarkov in originally COVID times, and I was always running solo, solo, solo. Then they dropped Arena, and I ended up entering a tournament, which is actually with Mr. Timmy over there, and that's where I met Hellcat, and we ended up winning said tournament, and that just lit the fire under me. That was it. I was hooked. From that point on, all I wanted to do is be be in the talk of competitive scene, to be honest. And from that point, that's where I was asked to make a team, and we've been here. We're here now. Here we are.
Officially made it.
That's what
Officially enjoying yourself
officially
as well,
made it.
right?
Yeah, beautiful. It's been, don't get me wrong, it's been rough, especially coming from ground up learning as a base game player. It was a completely different experience, but it's a much more fun experience. It's so much more fun than main game, in my opinion, at the moment.
It's great to hear, honestly. I'm still trying to figure out, chat, I'm not going to lie to you. Everything's coming through the game audio channel right now. Hold up. Let me turn that up a little bit. Stoney, give me a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 sound check.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 sound check. Can you hear me?
Chat, is that better? Is he noisier now?
Am I noisy? Can you hear me?
Better. We got so better in the chat. Okay, right, cool.
There
right.
you go.
All right,
No
and then
you to me.
to finish the full house then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Stoney, for joining us. We'll look forward to having a chat with you about this in a little second. The final, last but not least, but definitely a little, our man, myth, and Italian legend himself, the half-pint powerhouse. It is Mr. Ken Sikimaru. We don't joke about the Italian job and those Mini Coopers when we mess about with our main man, because he is an absolute demon, all right? He's named in my Discord as RNG Satan with no chill as one of my head moderators, all right? So the no-nonsense attitude, you should know, is definitely something that runs through the crew. But he's a legend, and he is a very, very good man when it comes to good humour. So the reason we throw these jokes out there is because the Outcasts, they've all got, I mean, bar Stoney missing legs. A good spine to work with, all right? Sorry about that one, Stoney.
Jeez, it didn't even
We'll talk
make
about
it
that
through
one later.
5
We'll talk about that
minutes,
one
bro.
later. But Ken, how are we doing? How are you feeling? And talk to us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. It's a super pleasure. I'm doing good. So, you know me, Cracked. I never got too much into Tarkov. My account goes back in 2017. I didn't play much solo. I did not enjoy the solo playstyle. I always wanted a buddy because I see Tarkov main game as more a duo, free, or squad-oriented game than it is on a solo. That's my personal opinion. We also played Destiny 2 together. We played a lot of stuff together. But you always know that I'm competitive, but my skills, I don't trust in my skills, and I need that little bit push, that little bit push, because my legs don't reach that far yet.
Just need a little something to get over the final hurdle sometimes. No, absolutely. Well, thank you guys both for joining us. Looking to have a little conversation about a couple of different things. Like we said, we had our experience this weekend just gone, but on the whole, the more grander scale, the LCL EU seeding session has started. The first weekend went down, and a lot of things happened. I mean, we got to see some newer teams, people we weren't so familiar with. I mean, I think it was maybe the first, the second real performance we've had out of the Wu Clan guys. They were a real good bunch to play against, honestly. Personally, I had a couple of messages after we ended up playing them afterwards, being really positive about the experience, so grateful to hear that. They were one that impressed me. Hort, any names from the EU Seeding Cup so far for yourself that's really caught your eye as such?
I mean, we know Decoded and Pandaric Apex, some of the bigger teams, but I had a lot of fun watching Infernal Soldiers. Vessel and Brand, some of those guys are already well known as well, but also, it's just fun to say that Boobies killed somebody. So I had a lot of fun casting those games. Honestly, though, I think I've done a lot more of the EU scene than I have of the NA scene. So I certainly a little more familiar with the crew over here. Obviously, there's a lot of us that were excited to see Outcasts grab a win. I think we obviously try not to show too much bias in the booth, but obviously you being a fellow caster and stuff, and to me, you guys are a team of more of like a group of friends that have got together and made a team, where there's a lot more of these other teams that have a little bit more of that professional background. So it's great to see, like, kind of like what over here we'd call our average Joes, like in dodgeball, going out there, and grabbing a win and playing competitively. So it was really fun. I think a lot of us behind the scenes were cheering for you guys. So it was great to see you guys grab a dub.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're not, there's kind of the meme we put behind it, although we have a slightly biased casting desk today, because obviously one of the casters is playing for the Outcasts, and we decided to sort of go all into the cheese poke. So, the logo we've got in between us, and then the 3 Outcast backgrounds. I mean, why not? If we're gonna do it, we don't do things in half measures at Outcasts. And I think that's something that you guys will appreciate if you keep an eye on the socials. I mean, on Twitter, we put the picture up from that cinematic on Fort on the attacking side, which saw the picture being taken from it. And I know Timmy's in the chat now, so we get to have a chat about the difficulties that the tournament takes on, all right? Actually going to take a little side twist to this, and a shout out to Timmy, and a nod to the difficult work that he does in the background of the LCL, because sometimes production just doesn't catch it. It's not as simple as, okay, this one moment in my eyes seems like the one thing that you should have been watching, but they've got like 17 eyes. and like maybe 60 different things they have to do as well as that at the same time. So when a glorious moment is missed, it's very rough. But I have to give credit to the LCL's production this weekend. They did a great job, I think, and we saw some amazing highlights, not just from the Outcasts, but from a lot of teams doing some really cool things with the meta. Now, I think my first question to Hort, and then actually to the guys from the Outcasts today, is speaking of the meta and crazy plays and things going on right now. Pace is an interesting one, right, Hort? We've seen some teams that are going a lot quicker at things and some teams that are slowing it down. Kirk, not a big fan, shall we say, of the Outcast's aggressive push. He thinks that that's maybe not one of our stronger suits. Everybody's got an opinion, so just like those a-holes, can you give us yours?
So I'm a big fan of the rat, as we know, but I think aggressiveness, especially when you have the skill to back it up, is very, very great. And I mean, we take look at teams like Virtus Plow, as I always call them, just referencing the old Counter Strike team. But Virtus Pro is a team that is extremely aggressive, has won a couple ACS Cups now, continues to be dominant. We see Pandaric Apex doing a lot of that as well. But they're at times on attack, they'll be real patient, which I also like to see on the attacking side. I see a lot of teams just being really, really patient. Sometimes I think people struggle to just kind of sit and wait and wait and wait. And so if you can get that defense to maybe be a little over aggressive, find an early pick, give yourself an advantage. But again, this is coming from someone who just like, sits in his little throne and makes judgments without playing arena a ton myself. So, I think everything that anybody can say can be taken with a grain of salt, because I think it depends on individual play style as well.
Interesting one. So to the guys above then, starting with, we'll go with Ken first, and then we'll come to Stoney after this one. How do you think it was from the weekend? Because we play a very interesting style of game, I'd like to think. I think our tempo is rather odd. So how did you feel, like, comparative to the teams that we've played for LCL? And, I mean, bear in mind, we also took part in the HPL qualifiers where we got to face some of these, the EU teams, the top tier teams, like Hort said, where we're the, we're that budget pack of 5 jam donuts that comes out at Sainsbury's in the morning for £1 until they're until they're all gone. These are the the £5.50 pack of donuts that have got the premium sticker on the back where you pay for the black seal on it and stuff like that. So how do you think it was? How do you feel versus the other teams? And is there anything that stood out to you? How other teams played against you guys this weekend, I guess.
So the pacing is very interesting because, as Hot said, uh, many teams don't like being aggressive, like except Virtus Pro, Pandaric. Most, I think, once you reach a certain level, you have to hold like angles, get that cheeky peek, that quick peek, and if you get overly aggressive, that can get shut down very quickly, putting you like 5v3, 4v3, and you are on the back foot. I think that's where us, LCL, Seeding Cup, and stuff like that, have a little bit more playtime, if that makes sense. We can pace the things a little bit more rough. Like, for example, well, our 5-man cannons. How many times have you seen before? I want to say before us doing a 5-man cannons, or I didn't see that many times, but we could quote unquote do it because of our different pacing. Meanwhile, on the defensive, people are very static, which is good, but I think some aggression in the defensive is not bad. Like, depending on the situation and on the map, being aggressive on defense can be very rewarding, especially if you get like the rotation. If you get the guys on the rotation, that can be very, very rewarding. You kill the bomb, you have bomb down, they have to take it. So, not sure. Not sure. It's interesting for sure.
Stoney, thoughts?
Going off the back of what Ken says, I kind of agree, because if you think about it this way, when going back to our last season compared to this season, right? Last season, it felt like very much it wasn't in our control. When we came back to this weekend's Just Gone game, and we were doing certain pushes, we felt more in control, and we were able to. I would say we'd get picks, and then that would be explode. That felt like we were in far more control than any other match we've ever had. Plus, not only that, we were all just as calm as each other. And I mean, as we can say, going into that game, I mentally wasn't in it. And it wasn't, if it wasn't for you guys and like just constant, come on, bro, get in the game, we brought that through. And that, from where we first came from to now, is completely different. We have got each other's backs 110%, and we're able to run through things as a squad. And it felt one of the best feelings, I think, was from us all, and everyone's positivity at the end of it was insane. We were all jumping, screaming, shouting. One of the best experiences, and it can only get better from that point. So my view on that is, yeah, this weekend was phenomenal, and let's go again. Let's go again.
Mr. Hort. He's giggling away. Go on, talk to me. What are you giggling at now?
I was just laughing because Ken said, coincidence. I went on vacation, they win, and I was teasing about maybe too much Commander and Conquer because I've been watching some of Ken's streams. I'm a big fan of real-time strategy games. Played a lot of Commander and Conquer and StarCraft as a kid. Was #1 in the world with the Brute Chieftain for like the first 6 months when Halo Wars came out. So yeah, I've always been a competitive gamer. And so, yeah, but I love real-time strategy. So I've been watching Ken do some Commander and Conquer here lately.
Been enjoying it then, Ken?
It's mostly PvE because I like to chill with RTS. I hit some high, diamond level on StarCraft 2 on PvP, but for me, RTS is more like chill, like decompress, think slowly, stuff that you cannot do on Arena.
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe taking 5 minutes out of your day and playing a random League of Legends ARAM because taking that game seriously is a wild concept. Not even going to go into that one, but no. We've been having a good bit of downtime, honestly, recently, I have to say. Hort, you had managed to join us a couple of days ago when we got some downtime playing the game. Hort, how was that? Because there was, 8 to 10 competitive arena players there of different teams all just getting involved in what could only be concerned as a circus, let's be real.
I had an absolute blast. The only kit I think I had made at the time was the TRG kit. So you helped me make an Enforcer kit. Yep. We had a little slugfest at mid, but overall, I mean, we had a couple of knife fights as well. Obviously, teasing Stripey a little bit. We saw on Twitter, and also calling him Tamaga 2.0, which maybe have been a little too harsh, but I think Stripey can take it. I seriously had a ton of fun though. I think it was great being able to get the community together and play games like that. And obviously you're trying to an extent, but to just kind of be able to relax and have fun with the community like that, I think it's fun because a lot of times people just kind of see that professional side of me where, you don't for people that know me, I have a horrible mouth, like a horrible potty mouth. Like I don't cast like I stream. And so I think I maybe catch people a little bit off guard sometimes, but yeah, a ton of fun.
So do we, chat, I don't know if the audio is going to work for this, but I can show you the clip from it for the other day either way, but we'll have a quick nosy at this just for 2 minutes so that everybody can appreciate this. So thank you again, shout out to Timmy and the LCL team for their social media efforts that got put in. Somebody clipped this from the guys that took part in and I've got to actually give a shout out to everybody that was in that group. All right, the likes of Rapid, the likes of Casbu, the likes of Stripey. Guys, there was so many of you in that channel. I'm not going to try and name everybody. I just pulled the first 3 that jumped off the top of my head. All right, so if you were in that channel, I want to give you one thank you for your conduct because it was an awesome environment. Everybody got on. Everyone was just down to clown in whatever fashion possible and got involved in the best way. So W comms and W community in that sort of environment there as a whole. But enjoy this, folks, because this is glorious. All right, and this is just dumb fun. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be so serious. Sometimes you can have a laugh.
Oh my god, what is going? Oh my god, there's a whole knife fight in mid.
Is it like a 10-man melee thing?
Yeah. Bait them into connector, Stay on the other side.
Fucking London up here.
It's London up here.
Oh.
That sounded like you for a second, Stoney.
Hit him in the back. Hit him in the back. Hit him in the back. Hit him in the back.
There's Hort.
Yo! Oh, yeah.
Get him, guys. I'll stay down here. Somebody go up lobby. Somebody go up Tetris. Get him. Come down here, boy. Get down here, boy. Oh.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
Russ. Come down my end, fam.
That, you know. Come down my end, fam.
Bitch,
That's
sit down!
crazy. Yeah,
Yes, Hart. Yeah. My boy.
That was good.
Can't go prone with a knife.
oh my. That's crazy, Cobbs. It gets me every time. It gets me every time, that one. You can't go prone with a knife. He's so savage with it. It's just zero respect in it whatsoever. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So much fun though.
Who was your toughest opponent? Go on, out of all of them there when we were playing, who did you find it
Probably
hardest to kill?
Rapid.
Really?
Probably Rapid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
I mean, Rapid's insane, right? Like just consistently multi kills, and so like the day that Rapid has a bad day is the day that Pandaric Apex drops a game.
Or he gets on a team with Stoney and he accidentally puts him down.
Oh yeah, I mean there was
I
a
mean-
couple of back and forth on the team kills in those games, but I'm gonna say I don't think it was really down to anything other than people just running around.
Who do you think, both, kind of in what we maybe call the pro scene and then the semi-pro scene, or, the separate divisions, but who do you think probably is the most clutch player in both of those divisions?
Oh. Do you know, for Div 1, I would probably have to go with Nemo.
Nemenas.
Nemenas.
Okay.
Div 1, definitely Nemenas. Div 2, honestly, I'm going to have to go with Danska.
Okay. All right. Okay. Dan
I
Skewer.
am.
Okay.
I'll give OFF some credit
Props on that
here.
one there. Okay.
Go up to Danska when he's got that any form of marksman.
He's not entertaining it. You don't want any of that heat.
Mate, I'd just rather turn around and run the other way. I can't lie. I really can't. Like, it's just every time I've gone against him, I've been sat down and basically been told to go sit in the corner with my dunce hat. So, yeah, those are my two. I'll be honest.
Okay. Pretty good, honestly. Ken, thoughts?
Ooh, decisions. That's hard. On Div 1, I would probably say either Blitzer, phenomenal player, by the way.
Okay.
Phenomenal
Oh,
player.
Hearts rating that. Hearts on that one. Hearts rating that answer for sure. I knew that one's coming. Yeah, fair enough.
Or, the second player, I'm battling between that ace when he hits those shots with the TRG, I have to say. There has been a few times where he clutched, consistency, TRG and stuff. Or, as Stoney said, the Nemenas.
Okay. Couple of hot ones in the top tier of the scene then, for sure. Hot. You've had some thoughts on this one for sure. Talk to me, because I know you were rattling the cage when Blitzergirl's name's
I
been
wrote
called
down
out.
Blitzer Queen myself. I wrote down Blitzer Queen. I mean, she had an ace. She had a 3v1 clutch or 1v3 clutch as well in the HPL. I mean, phenomenal showing. I put that ace and Rapid as close second. Both, I mean, we've seen so many multi-kills from Rapid. He's consistently a great player. That ace, another one, a couple multi-kills, ends it off with a jumping no-scope for the third one. Certainly a shining star. I think in the Div 2, almost anybody from K3 could probably be put up there. But for me, like, my silent picks would be like Kazbu or Luda.
Now, Kazbu doesn't like being picked. We know about this. We heard about this on the social day. Kazbu has like zero understanding why anybody thinks he's good on an marksman class, which is wild, honestly.
he's just incredibly modest. I think deep down he knows. I mean, we saw, I never hit shots with the dude didn't miss a shot out of the first like 7 with the TRG. Didn't matter if he used a different weapon as well.
That was that was when he ended up swapping
Yeah.
kit. He wasn't playing the TRG. He was on a scout and used it for one round, and then it ended up nailing 3. Yeah,
Just,
back to back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
really
I
ace.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just nasty, and so I mean, that's the fun thing about it. Like, there's just so much talent in both divisions, and like now that we have kind of this stepping stone for other people to get involved and get into the competitive scene is really fun because as much as I like watching the pros, I say this all the time. In any game I cast, I prefer watching and casting some of the lower divisions more than the pro, other than Rocket League. Because in
Okay.
Rocket League, you get all the fancy spins and the flashy plays. It makes it a little bit more exciting. But any other game, I feel like, especially as someone who's not on that pro level, especially anymore, getting old, like you can resonate a little bit more with those lower div teams as well. And so I think you almost connect a little bit more.
Speaking of dominant forces, I think it's time we take a moment to talk about the most recent result we had. Obviously, season 4 of the EU scene finished, and well, it's a different team champions this time. And again, a shout out to the effort from the Panderic squad for the picture that they used on the socials, which we're showing to the guys at home now. A great little poster there. Codex, Cacao, Bakizi, That Ace, Rapid. Your champions from this season. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm here to just open table talk about this one. I really quite like the graphic. I'm really genuinely. I'm just nerding over the artwork, honestly. But no, I think the Panderic squad did a good job. I think you're right. That ace definitely on the clutch potential. That's one that really has the king of the hill for me. I think Blitzer Girl is my close second, actually. Honestly, my only reason that ace comes above Blitzer Girl for me is the original concept to me. It's not just king consistency on the TRG, but before the TRG was his like predominantly, I am exceptional at this weapon, and he is definitely in my eyes the best in the world on that weapon. But he was also just consistent all round. I feel like the weapon has like gone from making him like S plus tier to S star tier, which is kind of crazy in itself. So that ace definitely my top rock on that one. Blitz second. And then when we're looking at the Div 2 squads, I mean, there's a lot of choices. There's a lot
Yeah.
of players on each. So here's the way I see the Div 2 scene right now. The Div 2 scene has teams of maybe 2 to 3 skilled players, like skilled players, and a couple of good mates. Competent players, above average players, but good mates that maybe just fall a little bit below that skill bracket, but that work well together as a team, or they think they're going to. And that's what makes it, to me, it's like the clutch players for the Div 2 teams are not necessarily just a clutch player. It's like they're the stronger players on the team. Does that make sense? So
Hmm.
I would actually look to every Div 2 team and say that every Div 2 team has a clutch player or two of them. But
For sure.
I don't think it's the same context as what we talk about at the top tiers of the EU scene. Does that make sense?
Now, see, I wasn't familiar with calls, but that was like he played so well over the
Yeah.
weekend for Decoded, and so that's someone I've certainly got my eye on. That could be like a big time. I don't know. To me, they're up and coming shining star. I don't know, if they have a bit of a bigger background in the community, but certainly an incredibly talented player that consistently tops frag and like exponentially did so.
Yeah. And I mean, as we come back onto the screen for the folks at home, I've got to shout out, no bias on this one, like a genuine shout out, but Snorlax for Div 2 as one of the clutch kings. I mean, I know myself, many hours of my time, the 2,500 hours I've got playing Arena have been lost or won versus Snorlax in a clutch where he 1v3s and 1v4s
Didn't get to
comfortably.
see him play.
No, we
I
didn't get
didn't
to
get to
see him
see him.
play.
Yeah,
No,
he
that's
was
it. And
he was in the
he's
NA.
not he's got, to be fair, he's had a bit of a rough time with it as Arsenal recently, been in and out of hospital and just coming back. So I don't blame him
Yeah.
going for a trip, honestly, to
I
go and
think
get
he
some
should have.
love.
I think it
Actually,
was great. I was
yeah,
hoping he could have stayed a little longer. I saw it was his trip was a bit
a
of a
little
short one, and
short
then
one than he
had a
wanted
little
to.
bit of a delay in the airport. But glad he made it home safely. But yeah, I mean, Snorlax is yeah. I haven't got to have as many interactions personally, but I see him on Twitter. I see his interactions with other people, and he just seems like a genuine, standard, phenomenal dude.
You've
And
hit the
so
nail on the
I,
head.
I yeah would have nowhere like any shape of bad thought or form about the guy. Like I've never seen any bad interaction from him. Just a great human.
Can't forget, obviously, the most clutch player in Div 7 in EU, of course, which is, Mr. Decoy. That's one that I think goes undisputed. I'm not sure that there's even another player in Div 7 that could be considered clutch to challenge that title. So I think we just, that one doesn't
I'm
really get to
almost
go on
out
the
of Div
table.
8, so I'm coming for you, Mr.
Decoy, you got to watch out, man. There you go. You see, Hawk Div 8 champion.
Yeah, I'm level battle pass 4 as of the other day, and so
Sports climbing, guys. Sports climbing.
He's cooking. Dear me.
50 before white.
Speaking of wipe, actually, that's a point. I'm putting a statement out here. All right, all of you arena gamers, you smellies out there, all right, that have gone, I've got to go play base game because wipe's coming. Don't forget to do your 2-hourly or 3-hourly arena games before you log off. You leave us arena players without anyone to play. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
I want
Come
games,
play.
man.
Come play the game. Come play the game. We're
Boo-hoo.
trolling, guys. We're trolling. Arena players complaining about base game players. Oh no! Oh no! New concept. Watch out! Rivalry turf war coming in now. Civil battle.
Is Boosh in here so we can talk about PvE for a little while?
Oh my god! I'm not sure whether that's a
What,
sly
player
shade
versus
dig or whether
everyone,
yeah.
Wait for the draw.
Player versus
I-
everyone.
I'm-
Boosh
I'm
is offended, man.
excuse
Boosh
me.
is cooked
I'm
in the chat
excited
right
for
now.
Wipe, though. I enjoyed the hardcore flea last time. I'm glad that they're kind of sticking with that. The found and raid thing for hideout, I think, is nice though. I mean, you can, stuff something in the butthole and get out with it and use it in the hideout. So
I said, God, Boosh is roasted. Boosh is taking an emergency trip to the nearest shop to buy some Savalon for that burn cream. Oh my word. Yikes. Oh, bro. Player versus everyone. Gets me every time. Calling my teammates environment, I still kill him. All right, let's talk about that, shall we? Because let's be real. Before we get into some weapon and kit details and how feelings are of the current meta and the state of the game, shall we address the elephant in the room from the Outcasts? How many times did we kill each other this weekend? Honestly, how many times?
I had that on my list to ask
Have you actually got it written down? Have you actually got it? Well, go on then.
It says nades and team kills. I'm just curious
no.
because of the team kills. Obviously, no one was safe on the other side of Boosh's crosshair, but Cracked had so many good nade kills, and at the same time had so many bad nade kills in that one day. Did you have a double nade kill at one point?
Yeah, no, not in that match, no, but I've comfortably picked up many of them. The guys have seen me drop 4 pieces in training.
And then,
yeah.
we were like, oh, these are great nade kills, and the next thing he got a teammate, and then he killed himself, and we're like, oh, that nade lineup's not all it's cracked up to be.
Somebody, that was the best part, was somebody threw that in chat, and when we were watching it back in the VOD review, I got rinsed by my team again for it, because whoever came out with a comment was just so good with it that it was like, I don't know what to say. I've got no response.
Walker hit the same lineup on Skybridge we saw.
Yeah.
Luckily, he got away. He got out in time, but...
The guys were laughing at it. Connor's in the chat, right? And Connor was our battle mod for the game. Connor was our assistant for the game. We're not allowed to use that term anymore. Apparently, it's snowflakes. I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, Connor was assisting for the game. All right, and Connor's in the chat. And no joke, quote for quote, that in the chat there. I'm yapping to myself in very correct fashion, like, come on, you can do this. You know the lineup, nice and simple. Threw it. Look good. Home run! I'm gone. I'm off to fourth base. I'm already out of there. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm gone. Jump across the corridor into Cult, and then don't know. Just 07 guys. Good luck. 4v5. Have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took out Osh. Poor guy. That was again, Osh. I'm sorry, mate. You just happened to be coming out of smoke at that time, and you simply were there no longer.
Was there anybody that didn't get a team kill that day? Was anybody...
Hellcat, the only
was
one. The only one that was...
exactly
free of
what
it
we
was
need.
Hellcat. Apparently
Had that
Kirk
crazy
agrees.
Ninja diffuse as well.
Yeah.
There were a lot of us that were going crazy for the Ninja diffuse.
Well, let's... Should we take a minute to just remind ourselves of a couple of little bits from the Liga events, stuff that was going on during the weekend? Because I want to, like, I don't know if anybody at home didn't get to watch the match that wants to see the team kill or the grenades that killed each other or any of the bits and bobs, and we can go and fetch that for you guys to have a look at after the break if you want. But we're trying not to throw too much Outcast stuff at the podcast today. We are trying to keep it relatively clean and fair across the board so everybody gets a bit of the spotlight. I just figured these guys would be good ones to talk to after their first win this week, and more importantly, I keep reaching out and asking people, and nobody responds. We're all too busy. Life of a pro player, I guess. I mean, it's either come and sit on the podcast or get good. So I mean, you got to respect it, really, don't you?
Yeah, 6 and 2 threes, I guess.
Was that like quick
Wait,
math?
for
Did you
Osh.
just?
What, 6 and 2 threes? No, I was just saying, because unfortunately, going back to what you were saying there, yeah, sitting on a podcast or getting good is kind of 6 and 2 threes. Maybe do both.
Maybe do
You can
both.
still- Yeah,
6 and 2 threes. Okay, I
it's
hear
a
you.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking up on it now. I never heard it till now, but I understand what you're saying now.
I feel like it's stony wisdom. I feel like he's like out philosophizing. Even I'm still lost down the rabbit hole trying to get to the end of the story. I'm gonna be real with you, but
Yeah.
6 and like I get that two
I mean-
threes and 6 are the same thing, but I'm like,
Yeah, so you could do both. You could be on the podcast and practice after.
Yeah.
He's
people can still come on the
saying
podcast
someone
and
else
practice.
answer cracked and get on the podcast is what he's telling him. Quit being lazy.
this is
Yeah,
why we leave
pretty
him on a
much.
site chat, because if he's doing the info communication,
I'm like
What a
I'm
point,
like the
Bond.
interpreter here from like not quite as stoned to I'm like half stony ninja.
All right, guys.
I'll just translate.
All right, I'm sorry, Hawk, but I'm just looking at the chat right now, and it's wild.
when Stoney's brain runs faster
Brain
than
runs
his
faster
legs,
than his legs.
Dude, right, chat. I am gonna have to. I will
Oh.
have to show everyone, right? Because clearly, for those that don't
He's like, hold
know,
on, Chad. I'm gonna have to wheel away from this.
I do have legs. I can move. Okay, I have legs, guys. All right, I promise you.
They just
Okay,
don't work well.
Yeah,
exactly.
right? So Stoney, explain to the folks at home about the legs, because on a daily basis there are leg jokes. Like literally, Stoney's got no legs. Like we get to the point where we asked Stoney if his bottom half was the first concept for a centaur. You know, similar things like that. You know, did Transformers
Centaur
take their
has more legs.
inspiration from Stoney? Half wheels, half human. There's been a various amount of walk on by jokes that
I got
Stoney
no
just
legs.
never made it to. Do you know what I mean? Like meet
Yeah,
here
just-
points. he's just
So, yeah, as a backstory, guys, I thought it'd be a really great idea to go airsofting with friends, right? And I've climbed all the way up to a 30-foot hill, okay? And you rent out masks, and said masks are mesh. They're not plastic. You can't see through them pretty much. It's like looking through your t-shirt. And I was running at the top of this hill, and I felt this almighty pain in the back of my leg. And then all of a sudden, I realized I'm going head first down said hill. I have officially landed on my face, my shoulder. My body has flipped over twice and landed in the crumple heap at the bottom of the hill. 6 months later, I got up out of bed and my legs went numb and I fell down. And I then had to go and do a lot of physio. And long story short, I am on to find out what's going on with the bottom of my back, to find out whether I have no discs in the bottom of my back or whether I have basically damaged the nervous system that connects the bottom of my back to my legs in order for me to be able to walk properly. So just into context, if I walk more than 100 meters, by the end of it, I'm like a penguin. So if people do say why Stoney hasn't got legs, I do have legs. I just have very minimal use. So that is
These
the,
penguins are
yeah.
cute.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
they are kind of cute.
Boosh is right. He does say he tries to use this as an excuse when he's not carrying in the matches. He's like, guys, I've got no legs. I'm handicapped. Like it's not fair. Like you treat me unfairly. So
Boosh,
we do
I
have
can't
to.
carry if your team kill, bro.
Like, oh, Kenny, you're too small for carrying us.
Yeah, you're one about talking small, Ken.
I'm gonna cut the wires of your wheelchair.
Oh no, please
Bitch.
don't. That's the way I
Yeah,
get around.
at first,
What the point was.
I thought that was like a 2-liter bottle. I just realized it was only 20 ounces.
Mate, notice how the bottle is both basically the same size as his top half. I love you, Ken. Mwah, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna write a letter to HR.
Do.
So the honest truth is that his legs have a
What
bad
do you
connection.
get when you gobble down sweets?
You missed
Eating as much
the
as an elephant.
Oh,
you missed
I do
you
love
missed the
my team.
moderator's comment when we ended up going into the match the other day and we were making jokes and banterous jokes. The moderator dropped into the comment of us saying, "It's all right, guys. We're definitely losing this one because to start the game 4v5, both Ken and Stoney are on our team. Together they only make one player."
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my
True.
god.
True.
Automatic disadvantage.
Technically, yes.
Oh, good fun.
It's a good job they're not Lego men, otherwise it would be a lot easier to stack them on top of each other, but
Yep.
each to their own.
What do you mean? If I was a Lego man, I wouldn't have legs. You know, you can pop the legs out. I'd just be the top half.
And that will change nothing, Stoney.
Oh dear. Right, talk to me about the actual current state of the game. All right, because you started off enjoying the PKP when the PKP was an enjoyable thing, doing the whole enforcer thing.
Yeah, and then they took LPS away from me and hated me.
Yep. You were insistent the MP7 was going to be the way to go for the first 2 weeks, and then didn't, and then have, and then still we don't actually really understand whether the MP7 is useful or whether that thing is meant as a bookend. Still can't decide that one, honestly, on an overall assumption. And, I mean, we've seen the guns since the beginning of 2025 go through a drastic shift quite quickly this season. So let's talk about guns as a whole. How do we feel it sits right now? I'll start off with Hort. The more experienced mind, shall we say, for the overall generic, and then we'll talk to you guys a little bit more about your personal thoughts on this one. But guns, Hort. Guns. Where do you feel right now?
I'm ready for a meta switch. I think that you're always going to have a meta, and so I think gaming companies need to embrace that and just change that every couple months. You see it in games like Teamfight Tactics and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I think you're always going to have a meta. You can fine tune and tweak things and get some stuff relatively close, but you're always going to have a meta. So I think you just kind of embrace that and then change it from season to season. And that's what I would like to see. I love guns like the spear we see a ton of, but I'm just ready to see something different at this point. And so I hope it does change up a little bit. But, honestly, like, more recently, I kind of always look toward Rapid a little bit. He has phenomenal takes on Twitter when there is a new gun meta. He came out as soon as this new patch was released. He lists 5 or 6 guns, including the AK, the 545 version that you see Blitzer Girl now running and dominating with. And so, I mean, I think this is a player. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to that stuff. I just get out there, get in there, play, have fun. If I win, I win. I do enjoy winning. I prefer to win, but I just get out there and do my own thing. And like, I think these are people that put a little more effort into it. They do their research. They go in, they test it. And so, I kind of used him as a little bit of a talisman to lean on there and get some info, maybe tweak it a little bit on my own just to have some fun with it. But I think Rapids is a player that's had a lot of good outtakes on the current meta specifically.
I have to give good credit to that, but I have to also steal some of that credit and send it on. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because other than their aggressive playstyle, it's not normally for me as an EU person to give the NA scene a tout for being ahead of the curve. But it was actually Buparino that initially put me onto this AK that you're referring to, that Rapids was running right now. And I'm talking maybe 3 months ago, even originally when BS was put into the tree. It's been touted for a while, and Stoney can attest to this because I shouted about Stoney to this ages ago for this AK. I've been running it since near the beginning of 2025 myself, and Rapid, another one of these members, like you say, smart, puts his time into going and doing that weapon testing. So, like, I know Boop heard of it or saw it from somebody else, tried it himself, and then said to me, hey, you should try this looks good. I asked him for the build, and I've never stopped running it since. So it just seems to be one of those weapons. Let's talk about the platform for a small period. I think it works 2 reasons very well. One, it has a slightly slower fire rate. And for when you're playing on servers where your ping is mismatched, EU versus NA, for whatever reason, whether it's you can't find games, so you put more servers on, or you accidentally left them on from a time when you had put them on because you couldn't find games, all right? When you're playing on that ping disadvantage, a slower fire rate weapon, for whatever reason, feels like it has better first bullet hit reg. Don't know why that AK falls into that slightly slower fire rate. 2, it doesn't move. Man, it just doesn't move. It's BS. It's got the best melt feel in game versus an enforcer right now, honestly. And it does click heads. Like you mouse button one on somebody's head with that weapon and it connects. So honestly, I think it's a really strong, really strong one at the moment.
I mean, I was using the AKs before they were cool. My first ever. That was you. You told me. You told me, cracked. I'm
He said
sorry.
I
You
put the
told
hips
me,
in hipster, baby.
Well,
bro. But
we
like,
looked at the 101 first. We looked at the AK 101 first with 5.56 in it for a thing, and then we were like, because Stoney likes his M4 and his.
so my guns go to were always M4 or the AK-74N.
That's the one.
Always.
Thank you. Yep.
The AK-74N and the M4. I would swear by. I would absolutely swear by. And then they changed the meta, and cracked was like, you've got to go wake up with the meta. So then I went to PKP. They nerfed that. Definitely felt targeted. I can't lie. I felt targeted there.
You
PK
didn't get to see
Pony.
this man. You didn't get to see this man on
I didn't get to see
PKP, right?
this. I was honestly diabolical.
Ken, he got nicknamed PK Pony.
Yep.
Because of the PKP, because of how disgusting he was holding the sight with it. And I mean, no disrespect to Stoney, but normally your sight player with that kit was disgusting with it because it was broken. Like, it's not a lack of skill thing from the player. It's just the kit was tuned very heavily. But yeah, very well played on that one, honestly.
But then you put me back to the AK-12. You were like, right, that's nerfed. You're not having fun. Go to the AK-12. I started popping off a little bit with that. I didn't like it. Got onto the spear. I was doing well with that. Again, didn't like it. And now I'm back on the AKs. And I'm sorry. I'm one of these people. I will hands up and say a lot of you are not going to like this, but screw the meta. I'm a non-meta gamer. I'm happy. You give me a gun that I know I can run, and I will run you. I will run into you with it, no problem whatsoever. Right? That's just me. I prefer non-meta.
I would love to see some sort of economy or some kind of way to shift these rounds a little bit like you see in Counter-Strike or Valorant. And for me, like, I think, and this is kind of a crazy concept, I don't know if it would work, but I'd love to see maybe the meta score drop down a little bit and then guns are kind of taken out of it momentarily. And maybe you can only buy certain guns if you're a class, but your meta score is based on your armor. So you still have your enforcers, you still have your classes, but say in like round 1, you're only able to buy like the Rish 12, a deagle if you're a certain class, and so you have maybe a pistol round to start off with, and then you can, work toward, maybe it's a point or an economy system, SMGs in the second round, or if they just want to do flat out pistols first round, SMGs second round, something along those lines. But I would like to see something so that every round matters a little bit more, because right now every round is the same. They all matter equally because you want to win. Obviously, you got to win the round, but I think it would add a little bit more of like excitement to the game, because I mean, how cool would it be seeing a 5v5 with various, Rish 12s, you got your revolvers, your desert, like, I think that would just be fun to see. And just like we love seeing the melee rounds and some of these more fun tournaments where they open up with a melee round. And so I think it's something that might ignite that excitement a little bit.
Going off that, I think I think yes, that would help. But for me, it's like right now for the meta, it's so dominant. AK, spear, TRG, like all the other guns are being drowned out. Like, give me a match where someone's running a 9mm full automatic Vector, or give me a match where someone's running around with Kedders. Like, it doesn't, like, I would love to see that. Like, I know obviously armor makes it difficult, but going around and seeing all these off meta guns would make it far more exciting. Everyone, everyone, for instance, on each thing has weaker ammo, high tier armor, and it's an actual, or like, I don't know. I find it when the fights go on a little bit longer. I find that much more fun. I do. I feel like there's much more of an achievement out of it. Don't get me wrong. When I go round and I put someone down with a headshot with 545 or 762, it's beautiful feeling. But when you get a crispy one tap with, like, say 9mm or I don't know, SOST, for instance, for the on a M4, that was really satisfying. It felt good. And then now it's just overrun by high tier ammo and good armor.
I'm actually, I think the one thing that's been missing so far from all of the metas is, I mean, we've had shotguns again in two different forms. We had the M4 driven meta with the AUG driven meta with spears and the SR3M or the Val, the VSS going for a while. We've not SMGs just haven't hit.
Haven't.
And I'm
No,
going to be honest with you, I
at
don't
all.
think SMGs have hit in general for a very long time. Even in base game, SMGs have kind of fallen to the wayside unless they're being run as a secondary for a Balti. And it
Yeah.
upsets me a little bit. And I so I like the way that they went with the kits. You remember the default kits where you built down a tree and they had these kits built with
Yeah.
a marksman and then an SMG, but it was like a techie SMG. Like they'd take the stock off, so it was like a pocket pistol kind of thing. That I like that idea of like a mini, like almost like a CS:GO Tech 9 or a set of Julies to sort of run around as your backup with. I like that concept, but our maps right now don't tend to that play style or that style of weaponry. I think the meta I could see coming in SMGs, I'd be down for a season of SMGs. Quick, aggressive
Same.
plays, bursty, two players getting on these quick dueling guns. Maybe like, engagements based off of whether those two players are able to take forward-facing fights and stuff like that. I'd be down to see it. And I'm sort of smiling about this because my assault rifle in Destiny fan friend over here in Tarkov, I think, would love to see an SMG or two running around, right, Ken?
Yep.
Talk to me about your love because you like your MP7. Vectors are
Yeah,
good.
it's very good, but it's consistency. Like they feel very inconsistent compared to the other choices that Scout has. Like when Scout had the 20 rounders on the Ash 12, it was, you know, the choice. The same thing for Enforcer. The choice is shotgun. Like
Yeah.
you have to play into headshot angles against shotguns, which I personally don't find fun when a gun can literally delete you in 2-3 shots, and the only way is, oh, you have to play exactly this way, or it's done. It's like very counterintuitive. Like, oh, I cannot do this. I have to play headshot, and also remember, Piranha can pan the helmets that the masks of scouts and stuff like that. Also, the facial if you use a fast MT because they have the
Yeah.
same armor class.
Tier 3, yep.
Uh, or
Yep.
they or they can use flashette, so they kind of nullify the bad
Weakness.
thing about
Yeah.
the weakness of the shotgun. You're on top half of flashette, top bottom of Ferrania, and GG's. I think SMG's meta will be very fun, and it will revitalize some maps. Example, Bay 5, for example,
Yeah.
Skybridge.
Yeah.
Uh, it will be very interesting to see it on, for example, Iceberg,
Mhm.
especially on the B side. Imagine SMGs on the B side,
Yep.
quick in and out of the stage.
The mid
Meanwhile,
fights would be insane.
I've
yeah.
I've got a concept for you, all right, and
Mm.
I'm kind of down. I liked Hort's idea of having this blast gang version of okay, this round is pistols. This you're talking to the effect of an economy, right, Hort? That's kind of what we're getting at here. Is you're talking to that kind of thought process and that example. I wonder if maybe we could address it in a different way. I mean, I'm totally down for blast gang tournaments, a 5v5 setting for that to be cool. But I tell you what, really, 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 really gave me an itch to play Call of Duty as a kid. If I ever wanted to touch a Call of Duty game, gun game. I would love to
Yeah.
see an Escape from Tarkov battle royale style gun game. 8 to 10 to 12 players, largish map. You start on a melee, or maybe you start on a pistol and you go to a melee, whatever the case may be. But I think there could be some really entertaining community, not prize pool based, but just
Yeah.
pride based, fun
No.
tournaments for gun game. You reckon?
I think that would be great. I think it would be fun, but I still want to see it implemented in the competitive scene. You look at why Counter-Strike does so well. You look at
Mm.
why Valorant does so well, and that's a part of it. There's these players that have these crazy clutch plays when they're stuck on a sheriff or a deagle. They're stuck on a scout or a marshal, and they get a jumping no scope headshot. Like it adds so much depth to a game, and it's a way to kind of like immerse the audience as well because you're not seeing the same thing every round. You're not seeing this person using and getting a kill with a spear every single round. The op costs significantly more, you know what I mean? So it's something that you would see in later rounds And so I think it also makes a team have to be comfortable and a little bit more versatile as a squad as a whole, as opposed to just getting comfortable at one role specifically. And so it adds a little more depth to the game at that point. And I don't know, I think it creates a lot more fun interactions. If you see it, a 2v1 clutch where a guy's using a dirty, hairy revolver, and he happens to get 2 headshots and clutch. I mean, it's going to be very exciting moments that you're not used to seeing, especially in the Tarkov arena scene. So I think it's obviously they have some stuff to tackle first, and who knows how they could maybe implement it. But I think it would be something that would be fun to see considered, even if it's just like a trial basis where they added outside of rank, like an unranked thing or, whatever it might be. But it'd be cool. Even when we get those 10-man customs, that would be great, right? Like,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I mean, it'd be nice if we could have that ability to say, first round, let's all use pistols. But right now we can't. We would all just have to pick a class with pistols. You know what I mean? But I think that would still be something fun. Okay, this game we're only using, pistols. This game we're all only using, something similar. And even if you are an enforcer, whatever it might be. So, but I think it would add a fun twist, certainly even in the competitive side.
Here's a bit of information for the three of you. I went and did some research. I've been asking around at a couple of different communities about some comedic questions. All right, so been a little bit short on some of the comic clips from people's streams based on arena content recently. Mostly because I've not had the time to go and troll in as many streams as I would like to have been able to grab you guys a clip of the level of quality that I want to make sure that the podcast stays to. So we've decided we're not going to go with cheesy or crass. We're going to not go with the clip. Instead, I've asked you some cool questions. So the one question I asked was, what mechanic could you come up with to bring into Blast Gang that you think would drive your opposition team crazy the most? And some of the best, worst responses are as follows. And I need to open a page of my book for this because some of these are great, by the way. Okay? Picking a gun up from a dead player on the opposition team and switching the fire mode would make the player forget which fire mode your gun was in for the rest of the game. So when you re-retrieved your weapon, you would not be able to see the writing on screen that says full auto or semi-auto. You would just have to fire the gun to figure it out before your PMC knew again. A little bit tedious. I thought that was quite gentle, I'm going to be honest with you. That was the lightest of the comments that came in. It gets worse. It gets much worse, all right, okay? So, if you tank a headshot the round before, your kit loses the helmet for the next round as a penalty for your fortune. It just gets taken off of your kit. You have to walk around bald for the next round. You got the ricochet chance. You rolled a nat 20. Your helmet is stolen for the next round. You see, people are starting to get a bit more vindictive here, yeah? And notice how more personal these get as we go down the line, okay? So we're warming you up for this, folks. There's a couple of little notes. Take notes, because it's getting a little bit more serious, all right? If you are using a VoIP key whilst killing an enemy member and you are not a positive to kill death ratio, for the rest of your game, your VoIP key will bug and feed you static audio into your headset louder than any other game sound for the rest of the game. Now, that one, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of down with that. That's actually kind of funny. It's really toxic, by the way. All right, and we're not going to throw any shade to names, right? But you that came up with this out there, you're gross, okay? You have definitely had an experience on VoIP that most of us have probably not had that was outlandish, and I would love to hear that story, okay? We've got even better than this. And this one leads me on to the best comic one at the end, all right? So this is second last. There's only 2 more to go, but if you get knifed at the end of the round, the next round you go into, your model starts with a heavy bleed on every limb out of spawn.
Nah, that's not right. That's not right, dude. Someone really hurt that person. That's all I'm going to say. That person there...
Somebody gets meleeed consistently on a nighttime, correct. Somebody gets meleeed as like second or last alive when they're defusing way too often, because that's a level of personal assault, is that right there? Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit wild.
That's even gentle. Imagine if you said, oh, you spawn without weapons. And a heavy bleed.
Dude, imagine being knifed in one round, then the next round you get a headshot, then the next round you get cocky because you're negative, Imagine all of them combined. You'd
Forces
be running
in
through
shambles.
Tarkov. You would never ever play that game again.
So you want
You
you want
wouldn't-
pain
you
to the max. Here's the one that took the cherry on the cake for me. The best one that had me in stitches, in absolute stitches. Okay, and then this is just Tarkov all around. Somebody's got a very smart mind and put a few things together. But if you get jump shot, headshot by a player at any point in time, that player then spends the rest of the game having every time their foot makes contact with the ground, it spawns a landmine underneath the foot.
Nah, I'm sorry.
That sounds like something Svetis would say. I'm serious.
He's catching
that's a Svetis thing right
strays.
there.
Somebody's
That man got jump shot a little bit too much. I have to say.
that's what I was thinking. That's a rough one, is that? Because you know that there's, I mean, jump off of A plat, jump off of Rambo, jump off top med, and that's just on ball alone, 3 points on one site. All right, there's so many places you get jump shot in this game now that like it almost feels second nature. But somebody's very, very frustrated about the jump shots. Now, my personal submission, and we'll go around the house on this one, was I would like, for the rest of the game, when a teammate griefs me in spawn and shoots me in spawn, for him to have tragic hit reg for the rest of the game. Like, I would like his bullets to never reduce an enemy from the rest of the game down below 1 health. You can take him to 1 health, that's fine, but he would permanently be unable to kill an enemy for the rest of the game. That would be my ploy. If he's going to shoot me in spawn, then at least he's going 0 and 12. I don't care how many times he kills me, but he is not getting a kill on the enemy team. That's my pitch. Thoughts?
Quite like that.
I would probably take it a step further. I hate being killed by my team after the round's over. I don't know why, but I hate it. So if you're on my team and you kill me after the round's over, your game doesn't work for the rest of the day. You can go sit in the corner.
Like, I can get on board with that. Just straight up X is to out profile. Straight up, just get out of here.
I don't know. Like, I've gotten better now because I let it known that it bothered me for so long that like people would want to do it. So I just kind of quit caring about it. But I used to absolutely hate it, and I don't know why. Like, the round's over, my teammate kills me. I'm like, why, bro? Like, I thought we were friends.
It's fair.
We're not friends anymore, bro. We're friends no longer. And I'm killing you in spawn at the start of the next round. Hope it was worth it. I'm
Honorable
petty.
mention. Honorable. But yeah, that was Guys, any thoughts? Any torture you'd like to give out to the community? Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, if your gun goes click whilst you're fighting someone, for the next game or next round, it's Russian roulette. If you reload, one of your mags will have the wrong ammo in it.
Oh, that's
Shambles.
okay.
And
Okay.
if you click multiple times fighting people and you're not counting your bullets, yeah, every mag will have 3 to 5 bullets. So it will go, you shoot your normal gun, you shoot your normal, a couple of bullets, then it'll go click. And you'll get that little sign saying not the right ammo. Just for bullet counting. No offense, that has a little bit of inspiration by one of my teammates, aka Osh.
Dang.
I have one, okay, and it's going to be a little bit personal, but if you know, you know.
Oh no! Oh no!
If you go prone, and you either win or lose, your gun will jam at the first bullet, and you will drop your mag.
Oh.
I can only think of Stripey or Tamaga.
Oh no! Surely not.
So I guess I didn't. If you know, I know. I didn't quite know.
No,
I'm on the verge of knowing.
It's not to anyone specific.
He said it was personal. Now he's taking it back. That's crazy.
Yes, it's personal because I hate getting killed by prone.
I'm just playing with you.
Honorable
I'll make
mention.
sure to prone every match against you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're gonna find us all on the ground from now on. Sleeping Lions is now a permanent standpoint. That's
Slithery
it.
snakes through the garden after kin.
Yeah.
Stony is already there, okay? So we know that.
So we've been cooking, folks. The guys are having a wild in time up here, and I hope you guys at home are all enjoying the podcast just as much as we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Philbo popping into the chat with a prone question mark. Tamaga? No way, man. Definitely not.
Dad.
Couldn't be him. Definitely couldn't be him.
Stepdad showed up to make sure we're staying in line.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go and take ourselves a quick 10-minute break. We're going to go and cook ourselves up some more topics to talk about for the second half of the podcast. We're going to take ourselves 2 minutes to go and grab a drink, rehydrate ourselves, and have a little natter between us about a couple of topics that probably aren't fit for your ears and consumption. But with that being said, if you're curious about any of those thoughts and processes that we might spill the beans on after the break, then don't go anywhere, because 10 minutes time, you're going to find all of these lovely faces coming to talk back to you amazing people about the competitive arena scene. So first of all, thank you for being awesome, for being here. We've been cool, we've been kooky, we've been crazy, and we're going to be coming back in 10 minutes.
Sweet.
one thing. I hope you can help me find. You're up to something. Too bad I can't read your mind. There's only one thing. I hope you can help me find. Oh, no, no, no. But you only want me. Super casually in the weekend. Oh, no, no, no. It's enough to see. You only want me in the weekend. You're up to something. Too bad I can't read your mind. There's only one thing. I hope you can help me find. You're up to something. Too bad I can't read your mind. There's only one thing. I hope you can help me find. Oh, no, no, no. But you only want me super casually in the weekend. Oh, no, no, no. Is it enough to see you only want me in the weekend? In the weekend. In the weekend. In the weekend. In the weekend. Oh, no, no, no. Is it enough to see you only want me in the weekend?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Welcome to Arena podcast. My name's Crack Wisdom, here, your host today, joined by my special guest on the hosting couch, the mythical mustache himself, Hort Sauce, as we speak to the Outcasts about their performance in the previous weekend and how the general competitive scene feels as a whole. We get some opinions, we get to dig in to the background and the depths of who the guys are that get to play on screen that you guys get to watch on the weekly basis, and what goes into making them the gamers that they are, including roots, maybe thoughts, passions, processes, original games they played before Tarkov, and what they might like to see in the future. And alongside that, I've brought myself a adversary to help me today battling the questions, and that is the man with the mustache. That is the Hort Sauce, and it would not be possible to be able to put on today's podcast without the man himself. So I want to take a moment to say thank you to Hort Sauce for joining me on the podcast today. Welcome him back in. And I'd like to say, if you folks would like to follow along with what Hort does, Hort's going to give you a little run through what he does in his spare time, where he streams on Twitch, and where you might be able to go and check out a cool, kooky little website that he has going on as well. So Hort, if you wouldn't mind, please immerse the folks at home with what you do with your professional career. How have we got Hort muted again?
1 second.
Is it you or is it me? Is it Discord?
I mean, you hear me, so
I hear you, yeah.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not OBS this time either. You should be coming through. As far as I can tell, you should be coming through.
test,
Up
quiz,
now.
check, mic.
Up
Hot
now.
mic?
Up
Do we got a
now.
hot
Up
mic?
now. Up now. Hello,
Hot mic.
guys. Is he working?
Good,
Because I haven't
good. I
touched
see it
anything
good.
yet. Is he actually
I see it
audible?
good.
Because I've not touched anything.
We've only got Mr. DeCoy. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, good. Okay, right. Well,
Okay,
they can hear
alright.
you. I'm not touching. You're going to continue not touching anything. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no worries,
So
brother.
try again, Hort. Start from the
Technology,
beginning for me.
we love
Yeah.
it. We love it and we hate it. But yeah, Hot Sauce been casting for about 6 years. Something I really enjoy. I've got a website where I've got most of my dates listed. It's just hotsauce.com. There is a schedule there. Usually, you can see the calendar, click the date. There's a link there from where I'm casting. But I've been doing it for 6 years. I mean, this is my biggest passion. And so I made a post not too long ago talking about how, sometimes it stinks being a little bit on that poor side, but it's hard to match it when, I get to be with my family all the time and I get to sit at home and cast over video games, something I truly love to do. So I've done my 182nd. This would technically be my 183rd event. I'm going to count this as an event. So, but my goal is to get 300 done in a year, and I'm on pace to get that. So, but yeah, I mean, this is what I love to do. I mean, this is what I live for. So it's fun to not only get to cast all these players week in and week out, but as time has gone on, you get to connect with them, whether it's, behind the scenes in Discord through a couple games. I mean, a lot of these guys I've played with, Kaner, and a bunch of them I played Marvel Rivals with, and, just other random games. And so it's fun to be able to get to connect with the community. And I think out of all the games I cast, I will say, even though there's, toxicity in all communities, including Tarkov, they have probably been the most welcoming community, and always glazing me up. So it's hard for me to complain. So, but no, I absolutely love what I get to do, for sure.
It's a great little thing that you bring to the community as well, with how you go about not just only your general commentary, but me as a person, I like swinging by your stream when I've got some spare time and checking my streams out. So your individual endeavors, both as a gamer and as a caster, something that I get on board with, and I think a lot of people at home I would like to encourage to go and do the same thing. So I'm going to pop a little
Appreciate
permission
it.
adjustment in the chat there for Hort to be able to spam some links at you folks. So for the next 60 seconds, Hort can spam away some links to his various socials. I'd like everybody in the chat to do us a favor. Go flood Hort with some support. Yes, it rhymes. We're going for crimes. I'd like to see all the hearts and hopes in the chat heading on over to our homie with the super cool hairline. All right. And a majestic mustache. Go show Hort some love.
Too kind,
All right.
too kind.
Twitch.tv/HortSauce. www.hortsauce.com. And there's a little shout out there being given out to Hort Sauce as well. Folks, appreciate the time that Hort takes out to come and join us. What a legend. No OnlyFans link, damn. That's the one I wanted. Well, unfortunately, it's only mustaches for Hort. You've got the wrong context. There is no OnlyFans. YouTube.com/Hort Sauce. Let's get it. off.com/Hawkcock. There you go. If you really want to. Amazing. Could not have asked for better. Honestly, onlysauce.com. Onlysauce.com.
Love it.
You got sauced. It's like you got mail, but for a way better version of it. I love it.
It's not Spider-Manning anymore. It's hot saucing.
Right.
Jeez. On that note, we're going to quickly talk about our next topic, and we've got a couple more topics to cross before we get ourselves on to the end of our evenings, which will take you to your casual downtime gaming to close out an amazing Wednesday. So, we'll start it off with the players in the comp scene. Favourite players. If you had to pick one, top of your head, instinct, right now, quick fire, 5-second answer. Hort, who's your favourite player in the comp scene right now?
I want to say Blitzer Queen, but it is actually going to be that ace for me for one specific reason. And when I play games, I tend to be a sniper. I love sniping, and he's the best at it. So for me, I think Div 1, that ace. Div 2, for me, I don't know. For whatever reason, I really like watching Luda. He's an exciting player that often connects with me outside of the community. So a little bit of bias probably because of that. But I love friendly competitors who are also talented at what they do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you at home in the chat are going to get to take part in this at the moment. So get your favourite player ready, as we're going to give you a countdown after we've spoken to our main man up in the top corner, Stoney, and then when we've spoken to our man up in the far corner over there, Mr. Ken. We're going to come to you guys at home in the chat. We're going to ask you who your favourite player is. I'll give you a countdown, and then we'll get that chat flooded with your answers. But for now, get your fingers ready. We'll come to you very shortly. First of all, Stoney, favourite player, 5 seconds to give us an instinctual. Who's your favourite player in the scene right now?
Div 1, have to be Walker.
Ooh.
Div 2, Cryptory.
Ooh, okay. Some hot topics, some thoughts and process. All right, Mr. Ken Sycamore.
Div 1 is Walker.
Ooh,
No doubt.
We've got some Walker fans.
Yeah. Div 2, huh?
I beat Walker the other day.
Oh, then also, sorry. No, that's what.
Oh, I
Div
gotta
2?
dig that clip up. I gotta dig that clip up where I sniped him through the staircase. Couldn't even see him.
On
He's
Div 2,
never gonna live that down.
I have no idea on Div 2.
Okay. Chat, get your
Could've said
answers ready.
yourself.
It's time for you guys, all right, chat. On the count of 3, I want to see everybody's favourite player in the EU scene in the chat. So we go 3, 2, 1. Your favourite player in the EU scene, chat, just for the EU. Me and me, coming from Stoney. Me and me? You're not your own favourite player, you absolute melt. Yeah, go from NA. Hellcat says Blitzer on the side of the girls here. Not surprised to see the ladies showing up in strength. Walker says Kiyoshima. Highman says, has to be a Miss Hellcat for me. I don't like that Stony Ninja guy. He's floor POV too much. Something to do with legs. Interesting. Decoy comes in with Blitzer Girl. Mr. Ken says, is that the name of your legs to Stony Ninja? Rough. Hot sauce, Trevor, you're undead. That's fair. So Sherpa said, I can't say. Rapid's throwing out a Fox or a Blitz out there. Okay. We've got some mixed opinions. I like to see the variety. NA, we've got Watchful. Yes, great. Let's go. If you've got any answers as well, chat, throw them in there. I don't mind. I'd love to see it. My favourite caster, Philbo.
You lot.
Are you all right over there, mate?
I love hearing Philbo cast. I've only got to recently hear a clip, and I've now been won over. I'm a fan at heart.
He must have run out of boobies. I mean, bullets.
Yes.
Hey, yo. There's a reason it's in the clips from one of the intro videos. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a couple of like little infamous parts of these clips that the Hunt Premier members have got ownership to, and various parts of the Hunt and their interactions with good people along the way. I mean, you've got Philbo's, he must have run out of boobies. Oh, I mean, bullets. And then you've got Nonny's very stereotypical.
Yeah.
And Philbo in the background just absolutely dying in hysterics. You've got Connor. Oh, and Connor goes down from the knife from Entas, which Connor hates me senseless for. Every time we watch that video and we go into the cast, and Hawk can back us up on this, we're always giggling about it, and Connor's like, oh, shut up, man. It's too good, honestly. My casting days are done. Nobody wants me casting. I cook people too much, says Philbo. Did you see that? So Decoy hit him with a Philbo roast me. Philbo messaged him back with a, who are you?
not like this.
Who the is this guy?
Exactly. Shot
Hit him with a
down.
Conor McGregor.
Shot down.
Bilbo couldn't cook a pot noodle.
Roasted.
That's
Roasted.
crazy.
Oh no. Jeez. I mean,
When
we
I
wanna have
cast, I try to see how many times I can get Connor to giggle here and there. Like it's always it's a nice little goal. I got him a couple times last week.
it's like our little dice roll, isn't it, in the casting booth? We're like, can we get something to come off that funny that we break the production? It's like, can we break the composure of production? If we did, then we have succeeded at our job, honestly. Oh dear. He's Ron Decoy Pickering. He's Ronnie Pickering, mate.
So I gotta ask something about LCL. I recently saw we had Outcast, but it's we see Outcast EPA now, and so I didn't get as a caster. I was just kind of they're like, hey, you show up about a half hour before you get prepped, quick to ready. I'm writing down the matches. I noticed the name, and so I didn't get a ton of clarification as to what this new kind of branding is. So what better place to ask? I look around. I see Outcast above me, diagonally, the other side, down below me. So, I mean, this is the great time to figure out exactly what does all that mean.
Well, to have a look at that, I think we have a look at a couple. Ooh. Oh, it's disappeared. It's too good, chat. You're not allowed to look at it. All right, the cam says no. Tiger Green
Good,
Curry.
not allowed.
Very nice. Okay, we're gonna tuck into that in a little bit. Thank you. Yes, please. All right. So now that I've been interrupted, the one thing you can never ever say no to or ignore, chat, your misses. I'm telling you now, that's a death sentence right there. Saying no to that, not a good source. All right. So sorry for the intervention. Right. Let's have a quick look at something because I think it's about time. So this is what we're talking about, right? The Outcasts.epa partnership. Okay. Just obviously good old EPA classic taste on the socials, yeah. No issues there. We're taking on OFF on Sunday, rent you, yep. So
Well, yeah.
this
Kirk
is
was
what I'm
telling me
looking
when
for.
we were casting LCL together. He said, "Did you know Rapids back on EPA?" And I said, "Bro, you did not fall for the Walker Deluxe, bro. Come on."
Got him, I believe, is the correct terminology for that one. I don't know what else extra to say about it, but fake
Didn't
news didn't
happen.
happen, says Kirk. I absolutely love to see it. I love to see it. So let's talk about it. Okay, so we had a conversation. Walker, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but Walker has been enjoying working with us donuts, shall we say. I think the best way to put it is maybe he feels sorry for the fact that we're absolutely diabolically bad at the game. And he's taken a bit of pity on us and he's decided to give us a bit of help. So he's spent a bit of time coaching, side coaching, semi-coaching, right, and helping us out with some bits and bobs. And I think he's maybe found a bit of enjoyment in it, really been enjoying that kind of environment. So we had a conversation. Did we want to maybe make something like substantial of it? Did we want a conversation towards a partnership where we work together? All right, we're going to build some stuff on the socials. We're going to put some more videos out there. The EPA squad is a team that I really feel embodies the mentality and like the brand goals of what we're looking for from the Outcasts. Like we are looking for people to represent themselves professionally, to go out there and show that on game day means game day, we mean business, and we're going to keep it on the field. And then when we take it off the field to the socials, we're going to be ruthless about it, but in the right tone, in the right fashion. Does that make sense? Like we keep it clean, but we keep it banter. And I've got to be honest with you, from me personally, and I think from the Outcasts as a team, we really appreciate what EPA has as a whole and what they stand for. And I mean, there's no argument to appreciate the level of skill. Let's be honest about that. That's not even a topic of conversation. So that's what, essentially we see in them. What the Outcasts essentially are getting from it is that experience, the environment and the support, which is phenomenal. We can't really thank the EPA squad enough already, just for the little bits of having, minor conversations. I got fortunate enough to have a chat with Fox about a mouse, because my mouse is just a bog standard mouse. It just does mouse things, yeah. And I'm kind of feeling like I could do with maybe upping my game quality a little bit. So I got to have a 10-minute conversation with Fox. I asked his experience about the mouses, and then I'm going to order a Dutch mouse because that's what he says is good, and I trust him on that one, But these things are, this kind of information, it's not necessarily that free to get around, and something as simple as like For example, Walker talking to us a little bit about our positioning on Skybridge and where we're making mistakes. Like being able to have that time with Walker to work on these things has really helped bring the team to a next level. And I think it's actually been a big attribute as to why we were able to get our first win over the line this weekend, honestly. So, it's a partnership. We're not taking the EPA brand. EPA is not merging into the Outcasts as a brand either. We're working together. We're going to help continue to be exceptional together, and we're going to push each other to further heights. And, maybe once or twice a week we might not have scrims with the community now with one of the other teams because we've got a weekly scrim booked in against EPA because it's a good environment to test in. I mean, these guys would put us through our paces. These guys would put us in our places, I think is probably a more accurate kind of description for it. But
I would kind of agree on that one, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for the next HPL for that reason. I think, before we saw Sicario really dominating, well, we've seen Panderic be in that spot. And to me, if EPA played on day one the way they played the rest of the entire tournament, we very well could have seen a 1-1 or even a big upset from them against Panderic Apex. And so I think as much as I love Panderic, they are the best team right now. I think if EPA continues on the trajectory that they're on, that we might just have a different winner in the next HPL. And so I'm really excited to see all these different, the shift kind of in what was the leaderboard before and now all of these teams competing. So that's definitely a team that I've got my eye on. I'm excited to see how well they do in the ACS as well.
it was a conversation that went down in a very interesting scenario, I'm going to be honest with you. Myself and Walker kind of bumped heads. I had spoken to a different team actually about it in concept, and then we kind of were like, wait a minute. Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. Just run that by me again. Let's tweak a few things, an email back and forth, and we were like, okay. And then I brought it to the team and these guys. I was like, look, this conversation's on the table. What's, how do you feel? What's the thoughts about it? And I think, you guys who speak for yourselves, we were already, I think, naturally EPA fans anyway. I try not to be because of the job casting wise, but even as a gamer, as a player, I still have my favorites when we play. So it's an exciting concept, and then to have that door open up was great. And these guys, I think, you guys like to watch the EPA games and talk about it since, and like I say, it's been really beneficial so far. Honestly, just a massive thank you to EPA for accepting the offer, really. And I think the clarity you're looking for, it's Outcasts.EPA. Okay, so it's an Outcasts and EPA partnership. Imagine the dot is essentially an X. Yeah, Outcast X EPA crossover. All right, in game, in a casting sense, they're EPA. You can still just call them EPA. It's nice and simple. But on screen for the representation, you'll see their team name will be represented as Outcasts in long form, and their initials are OT. And that's just how it's nice and simple. It doesn't need to be too confusing for the folks at home. For anybody that's like, why? What? Don't worry about that. It's okay. We did that bit. We did the confusing part about that in the conversations in the background. You'll hear the casters call the team EPA. They will be Outcasts represented on screen, and their tag is OT, and it's nice and simple. It's a partnership. We're growing together, and we're going to try and help each other improve, even though we're the ones that really need the improvement, I think, out of the two. But look, nobody's perfect, right? And this is something we spoke about, actually, is even the old dogs can teach new dogs old tricks and show them a way forward. There's a little bit of give and take, and we might, sometimes a fresh perspective might open a door to an experienced player where the mindset's been honed for so long that they miss an opportunity. And I think that's maybe where that give and take comes in.
Us old dogs can learn new tricks too, Sometimes we learn from the younger generation as well. But I mean, I think that's the one thing I love about the Tarkov arena scene too. Even though as a base game enjoyer, there's not very many teams in the Tarkov arena scene that I don't find myself, not liking. So I pretty much am an enjoyer of most of the teams, even though I have a little bit of a favorite here or there. I genuinely like probably 95, 98% of the teams. I've never really had too many bad interactions. So always a fun time over here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a part of the entire concept as a whole that we were really excited for. And this is why you'll see, I'm going to actually just quickly tab us back over from this screen to another reference image for the folks at home. So this is the teams that went into the Seeding Cup, folks. And you'll notice that the EPA logo as it is there with the white, the crossover branding that you've gone for, it's got a bit more colour to it, a bit more orange and a bit of the red flare in there to sort of show that the two brands are partnering up together. That's why you saw the members in that team in the orange writing with that post that was put out by the Outcasts.epa page. The EPA half of that partnership will continue to keep their socials up through the same channels. So you'll be able to follow them in the same places. You don't need to go and follow a whole brand new set of stuff. It's nice and simple. It's just a little bit of a change of the scenery in the same location, okay? And with that being said, that is simply two of all of the teams you've got on screen there. I mean, we've got, 16 teams there? Yes, 16 teams total. Out of these, who has surprised you guys the most out of the teams that you've got on screen there from the Seeding Cup so far?
Ooh, that's a good one. Out of all of the games I watched, I'll be honest, it would actually probably have to be OFF for me.
Okay. Ken?
For me, let me see. I don't know. I really loved the APA match, but that's me.
Hot?
I like the K3 Pandaric Academy match. I mean, we saw this team that just won ASPL take 5 rounds off of Pandaric Academy. I think that one was Pandaric take 5 rounds off of them. I really like that game from a newer squad like Luda Baby, Tio Diaz. They had recently swapped to this team, and so still kind of finding their team synergy. But this is a new team that was able to take 5 rounds. I said that backwards initially, but off of K3, and so I mean K3 is another really, really fun team. So I enjoyed that series. I like the Infernal Soldiers Sicario Academy game as well. That was another one that was 6-9. That was a good one. I enjoyed the closer games, I think, a little bit more. Obviously, I think most people do. But so I think day one was pretty much blowouts nonstop. So
Do you think you're going to see more closely contested matches going into this weekend? So as we come back to the folks at home on screen, do you reckon we're going to see more heat this weekend? I mean, we've ended up finding ourselves in this weekend's group finals, which is a conundrum in itself. So we're about to prepare ourselves for a shafting this weekend, because whereas last weekend we had a good chance, I think this weekend coming up we have to be very realistic in the term that we have improved. Yep. But there's still a long way to go yet before we can consistently consider ourselves being able to challenge the people coming up in this weekend. But I'm looking at a free weekend
I
of
was just gonna
Pandaric
say,
going.
I think if it's a best of one, I think that's the best time for an upset to happen, though. Like, you never know what could happen. And so I think if you have a chance being an underdog squad, obviously you'd love to win a best of 3 and really show a team. But like being, real about it, if that's the best time to upset a team that maybe you potentially wouldn't beat on a regular basis. So I think that's also maybe an exciting factor about having that best of one, at least for the seeding cup.
Yeah.
I also
Actually,
have to disagree a little bit with
ooh,
what
go
you
on.
say, Cracked. I do. Yeah, we're going up against some severe opponents, but us as a team, we can hold our own, man. We have taken rounds of team. We did it in the HPL qualifiers. Yes, we won no games, but we were taking rounds of some of the top
I'm
teams.
telling you now, teams out there, all right, okay? I'm a realist, all right? I watch you guys in, day out, okay? These guys do too, but these guys are very keen to prove that there is not as much gap as they think. And I'm going to be honest with you, if people keep trending the way they do, the Outcasts are coming for every single one of you out there, all right? And in the best fashion, okay? I'm looking
In the
forward to
friendliest
some
way.
closely competing matches. I mean, the guys were hyped for the first chance to go and play against Pandaric Apex. Yeah, there's people that they idolize, they've watched for ages, years and time of watching, 2 years now's worth of competitive arena almost, right? These guys have watched them play for a time. And then having the chance to go and play against them in the HPL qualifiers is a little, it's a very, very positive moment for a lot of the team
Full on
members.
fangirling, bro.
There's one point Stoney swings, he goes, oh no, it's Bakisi. I followed him round and killed Bakisi with my shotgun. And he goes, yeah, correct, you got him with the shotgun. I'm like, yeah, but bro, we're dead. Like, if we got one guy,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Mate,
I know the feeling. I played against Cacao one night, and their team stomped me, but I got 1, maybe 2 kills. I know I clipped one of them, but I got a kill on Cacao, and I was like, yeah, I'm putting this on a plaque on the fridge. Like, yes.
Well,
So
was
I
exactly the
understand.
same.
I understand it.
I was exactly the same. I killed Cacao, and that was it. That's it. And I said to Cracked, I know I'm going to get steamrolled. But I'm going in there as long as I get either Bikisi or Cacao. I'm happy. At least I can say I've shot down one of them. You know, and mate, hopefully again soon. One day again soon, we get to play again, and this time we can show them who we are
I
because
have
we're a
faith.
very different team.
I have faith. These guys are confident.
I love the confidence, and it's nice to see from the players, side. And I'm sure you would back that up a little bit more if you're in like a team setting or a team meeting. But you hear Cracked as a player still coming it from that casting side, that little
Yeah.
more like host analytical side. But to hear the players be confident like that, I think you should always have that attitude. Like you can still recognize that a team, overall on paper is better than you, but like to say that, I have the confidence to step up and I believe that we can beat them. I think that's an exciting thing to have as a team, and like that's a valuable asset, in a team player.
I think
I will
that's
recite
the
one-
difference. Go on. You first.
I will recite one thing that I was told. I was told at the end of the day, these people on the other side of the screen you are facing are only human. They can make mistakes too. And I
Yeah.
live off that now. And listen, I used to get bogged down. Now you ain't going to see a bogged down Stoney, especially when he's got teammates like these behind him. You ain't going to see it.
I like the advantage I bring to things, actually. I'm not a good gun player. Like, my gun skill's not amazing. The shotgun definitely empowers me. Don't mind admitting that. But what I really like is because of that extra, sort of experience or exposure to the environment, like, I know how to play at these teams too. Like, I can see somebody doing something on screen where we've commentated on it, and I can walk those footsteps. That's not a problem. I can reproduce that. Not an issue whatsoever. It's getting the guys in the team to be able to follow with it. And now that they're kind of like, everybody's starting to slowly understand from the team perspective, everybody's starting to get on the same wavelength of like, oh, he saw that ace do this the one time, or he saw Walker do this the one time, and like, people are starting to understand. There was a lot of time to begin with, I think, as a team, I would push forward myself. Like, I've got a plan in mind, but people weren't quite very well able to read where I was going with it. I was just kind of like off on my own, either do or dying. And now people are starting to really sort of be able to respond to it and play in a similar form of tempo, which is a confidence-based thing. The team has definitely come on leaps and bounds. So, yeah, we'll be coming for you guys this weekend. We'll be coming for everybody out there. We'll be looking to try and put another dent in the armor of those teams that are considered undefeatable. And we will continue, all right, to provide you guys at home with cinematic attacking rounds. There is no such thing as a boring attacking round from the Outcasts, okay? You are never going to see...
Even when you're
let's
crab
do a
walking.
default. Let's do a
That's
default.
the ritual.
It's
Even
not-
when you're crab
Ritual.
walking for the first 35 seconds of the round, it's still amusing because there's 5 of you doing it. And so, it's like as a team, whether we make a smart decision or a bad decision, we're making that decision together as a team. And I think that's an important thing to do. And so it has created a lot of those fun environments for people watching as well. It's not the same cookie cutter stuff that you see on a daily basis. And so again, it's just another thing to spice it up a little bit. And it's something that I've enjoyed seeing.
I'm
I
going to be honest with
definitely
you. The second a team starts to think that they know what we're going to do next is the beginning of the end for that team. The minute you start to assume that our slow play is going to come down one lane or 5 people are going to burst out of one area, that's exactly the round that Stoney's randomly called. We're going to do something completely different because he just did this one round. And nobody questions it. We just go to garden with 5 people instead of slamming mid like we have every round because Stoney was like, oh, I kind of fancy a garden push, guys. All right, cool.
Are you the technical IGL? I don't even think we
So-
know this as a whole, but
Okay, let's talk about that then, actually. Let's talk about a bit, because you've got the 3 people here that this actually went through. So the initial stage of this as we started as a team was I was going to IGL because I was the most vocal. Then a coach came in and spoke to us and gave a more experienced opinion and said, actually, I think Ken is best suited for the IGL role. So we went into trying to develop that.
that.
Ken started IGL, and I would support him. I would be his second IGL, and when he was maybe struggling for something, it would fall back to me to give him that space to play whilst I would hold the reins. Ken has decided that that's not necessarily working for the time being, has stepped away from it, and has actually given the reins back to me. But what we did is we had like a kind of like a fence off for the time being. Me and Ken were like jousting at each other, not really friends about it. We were kind of frustrated. And in the lurch of it, Stoney kind of took over IGLing for a little bit whilst we were busy at loggerheads to each other. And I'm going to be honest with you, for one night while Stoney did it, it was actually kind of like the freest IGL we've ever had. And then IGLing changed as the team. Like his simple way of doing it
That's
allowed me
crazy.
to unlock a new version of IGL. I am now running IGL, but he's my backup,
Okay.
and that's
'Cause
how we
Yeah,
do it.
like nothing
Yeah.
against Stoney. I love him. He's hilarious, funny, and great, and talented at the game.
But he's a
To me,
lunatic.
that's like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah.
but this is it. This is my point. I am definitely Pinky at this point, and Cracked is the brain, right? Right, but this is it. This is it. When I can see Cracked is fully stumped because I can tell because I've played with Cracked enough now. When I see Cracked is stumped, I just offer a little. Should we do this? And he's like, oh my god! Literally, some of the times he's gone, oh my god, yeah, do that. And then he's got the rest of the round to think, and by the next time he's thought of some fucking wild play in his head, and we've pulled it off.
Yeah,
And
don't get me
that's it.
wrong. There's no overtime. Like I don't want to go overglaze it too much. Like I'm no genius, but if I get stuck,
Smart with it.
it's normally because I'm tunneling on something, and it's that ability for a teammate to pull your focus away from your tunnel and to just remind you of the bigger picture that he really does exceptionally well from that. And he doesn't just do it for me either. The other teammates as well. Sometimes when they focus in too hard, Stoney will just say something silly, and that something silly can be like the atmosphere breaker, like that mental glass box that's like got you in this atmosphere, and it just shatters around you because it's like, oh my god, real world again. Okay, we're in a game, cool, lock in, and it's like, right, sometimes that's the jump start you need to just get you going. And then, I mean, it's because Stoney will think about something, and Stoney like unlocks that extra, degree of point of view. And then my brain's like, okay, so I was already a lunatic. Now another lunatic's just added an extra like 45 degrees with a lunacy. I mean, you're expecting insanity in the circus from like daisy chains and sunshines and rainbows, and what you're going to end up getting is like somewhere in the middle, Wizard of Oz kind of style stuff, where it's either great and it looks phenomenal, or it's the most terrible mess of chaos you've ever seen. I mean, how many of those grenades nearly killed us?
Oh my god, don't.
That's all I'm going to say.
And how many did?
Yeah, how many? Yeah, exactly. You see,
I still want a first-person view of the one that got yourself. That's the one I want to see.
Cracked. It was so funny, Hort. It was so funny. Like hearing Cracked. The thing is, you got to understand the comms here, right? So Cracked is going, right, I'm going to throw this nade, right? And I'm going to get maybe one or maybe two off this, right? He throws it and he goes, right, it's gone. Boom, 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 boom. Guys, I failed. And they look up in the screen and it's just a grenade sign and lost Yappa.
Lost
And
Yappa fell over. Mm-hmm.
All of us just looked, all of us kind of like just went silent a second and like, okay, so that definitely just happened, right? Let's carry on.
What happened was
I've never hit a hitbox on that poster. That's all I'm going to say. I've never hit that hitbox on my poster in my life. Never hit that hitbox in the corner of the poster. It's crazy. To have it come back directly at the angle that it went at, running at a 45 to a flat wall is, I don't know, man. Like,
Looking back at it on the VOD, though, dude.
It's
Looking back
crazy.
at that. Unfortunate.
I'm
man.
never living that down, honestly. I'm never living that down. The thing that's winding me up the most is you made the point of it. The Bay 5 game the day before, I had magnets inside of the Infernal Soldiers' pockets. We didn't win that game either as well, but I had literally Gabby on the account Boobies, by the way, which deserves the recognition. For the folks at home that don't know the reference to Boobies that were making the comment of Boobies, Boobies is the in-game name for one of the Infernal Soldiers players, which is none other than Blueberry Gabby. Exactly. So if you've spent any time on Twitter, on Twitch, or involved in Tarkov in general, you'll know of Gabby because she's an exceptional content creator and is pretty damn good at Arena too. So 07 for boobs, that's it. 07 for boobies. But yeah, shout out to Gabby because that was one of the people that unfortunately had herself a magnet in the pocket that day. We had a couple top mid nades, and Vessel himself as well actually even messaged afterwards. But I mean, the Infernal Soldiers played a strong game. They ended up beating us 9-3, and that's honestly yeah, I mean, testament to their strength. They're a good team.
Vessel's
I
a
expect
monster,
them to do
bro.
well.
Vessel's a monster.
Yeah,
and Bran, another talented player, but Vessel he's got that little extra pep in the step, if you will, you know.
Little fancies him a little bit self
Naturally.
and next, yeah. Well, he's young, right? I won't expose the man's age. No doxing on here, but Vessel is a very, very young individual, and you know, we're considering young to be under the age of like 25 in gaming terms. Okay, young as in like maybe 18 to 25. You're still in or coming up to your prime of being a gamer. Like, you're not past it yet, not even close to starting to lose reaction time. You're probably still gaining a little bit, right? Kind of young. These people have room for growth. It brings me on to my next question for the instinct questions, and we'll go with a 5-second quick reaction answer. Those of you at home that want to join in when we ask you in chat, get your answers ready. Who, in your eyes, at this moment in time, is the current youth talent with the most potential? Who's the next up-and-coming player? The likes of I think, leading example I'll suggest with, there's going to be Fox. A very young individual who has been dominant in the scene since he's been introduced. A little bit of a cop-out, though, because he's not really new anymore. All right, so I'm going to take that one off the table for all of you guys. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's the kind of type of player I'm looking for. Who's going to be the next Fox?
Honestly, Vessel.
Maybe Calls. I need to see more from Calls because I don't know enough about them, but incredibly this is a name I've never seen, right? Up until this weekend. And so two, 3 really insanely, consistently dominating performances. Calls is certainly one that stands out. We haven't seen a lot from Simda, which was a fill, I think, for one of the teams. He was a backup player that came in with the TRG. Really talented sniper, a kid I'm looking out for as well. But I think that's the really cool thing about the D2 team is, like, you could probably pick 2 or 3 names from a lot of these rosters. I mean, definitively at least 1, maybe 2, but from a lot of these rosters, because there is a lot of up and coming shining stars. But I want to see more from Calls if he can consistently continue to what he's done. Obviously, he stepped into a great team already. Does make it a little bit easier. But yeah, a couple names I'm definitely looking out for.
Ken, any suggestions of anybody that's impressed you? Any young talent you think is going to show up and maybe show out?
I will agree with Vessel and Carl. Yeah, both great picks.
Interesting.
Videni? I think Videni was another one.
That's WuClan's Videni. Yeah, Videni played very well. There's a couple in quite a few teams that have very snappy performances, shall we say. I don't know about, like, a new...
Envy had a lot of crazy snipes, consistently 1, 2, 3 bags, like nasty.
That's my one, honestly. That's my currently, like, most impressive EU player. That's sort of like not. So when we say up and coming, this is rough actually, because Enverosity's been around for a while. Like, he's a gamer. He's absolutely a gamer. Very Tarkov familiar, right? But when it comes to arena comp, very fresh to the environment as a whole, and I'm a big fan. Yeah, Enverosity is an exceptional gamer. Guy's one of the people that I like to go hunt when I'm running a TRG because it's a good challenge. It's like it is a tough game against Envy, so gotta respect that, honestly. It's rough that the NA scene isn't included, honestly, because my next actual, like, real Fox, and no disrespect meant to Vessel is exceptional as a player, but I don't think he's quite got the skill ceiling to be able to reach the same heights as Fox. I just don't think he's built, like, Fox is built like an alien, let's be real. This guy is he's wild. So my closest rival for that right now is Tizzy, actually. I think Tizzy could be the one that would next rival Fox if he keeps going on the same trajectory that he has. And the other one that rivals him is one I'm proud to have in our Epic Fails squad, and that's Corium, who is also a bit of a wild cannon when it comes to playing EFT.
I like watching Trevi.
Trevi's a demon, but Trevi's an old guard member, man. That mustache has had more hours inside of the arena than yours has, mate.
Yeah, but he's just always waiting in the background. He never kind of, like, I mean, he's a shining star every time he plays, but then he's kind of indecisive. Like, I'm going to take maybe a season off and let someone else play. Or, I think obviously he's got a family and other stuff he does too. So, I mean, there's plenty of great reasons, but I think he's another guy that could be, a shining star consistently if he just played on it. And that's why I'm glad to see Redacted over here making a team as well and seeing what they can do in upcoming times.
There's a lot to watch out for in the NA scene. We're going to get to talk a little bit about that NA scene next week, folks. Okay, so just to bring it to a smooth close very shortly, because we have hit the 2-hour mark, folks. We've been running for the whole time that we normally run for, and we might even run a little over tonight if the guys are still good for yapping, depending on how we feel. We'll see how we're doing, but everybody seems to be chilling so far, and as long as you guys in the chat are still enjoying yourselves, then no reason to close the doors on the performance early if everybody fancies an encore. But next week's episode will be another interview with the Epic Fails squad. We're going to get to speak to a couple of members from the team regarding some changes and the fact that the Epic Fails squad has also been continually supporting this podcast, okay? The Epic Fails squad took over sponsorship of the podcaster after Panderic stepped away from doing so, hence why the changing of the branding, and massive appreciation and shout out to the Epic Fails esports organization and their team members and the participants in that for their support. The Outcasts themselves as a brand, our manager has stepped forward and also asked to support the podcast as well in that sponsorship section, which is why we've gone with all the Outcasts branding as well as the stuff behind us in the chairs today. So again, a thank you and shout out to the management and Outcasts for that support as well. Appreciate that one. Not only that, folks, but a thank you to you guys for turning up, okay? It is game recorded, and I know that most of you don't necessarily get the chance to come and join us when we are live on the broadcast, but the single messages that come through on the weekly basis, when's the next podcast, when are you going to upload it to YouTube so I can watch it whilst I'm on my break at work, it really means the world to me, and it really makes it worth putting the time into coming and doing the podcast, so thank you guys for that. It's tenfold appreciated, it really is, and I'm hoping, not to put Hort on the spot, but if we get chance in his calendar, because he's a very busy man, we might be able to whip Mr. Hot Sauce back up for the podcast next week to speak to those Epic Fails boys. We'll see. We'll maybe keep that one a little quiet for now.
I love it, bro. Honestly, I'm having so much fun. Like I said, the Tarkov community has been, regardless of the toxicity of any community, overall has been one of the most welcoming communities, especially in my casting career. So I always have fun, just coming over and shooting the shit and just, talking about similar things. And so, yeah, I would love to come back. And so I'm glad you said it early because my family, we're planning a trip to a science center here and we were talking about Wednesday or Thursday. So
Thursday.
if you let me know ahead of time, then I'll make sure it is Thursday. But yeah, I mean, I just, like I said, I always sounded like a broken record, but I just genuinely love this stuff. And obviously I enjoy being in front of a camera and yelling at the mic, but getting to do that and then also connect with the community, different players from different teams, whatever it might be. I mean, that's an experience that you really can't match over the longevity of a lifetime. You look back on memories like this. So totally would love to come back.
And with that, folks, it's time for the shameless plug. All right, you know me, a wordsmith, and always quite willing to be just as cheesy as is required for the job to get done. All right, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see Hort back, okay, on the podcast, then get some support in the chat right now. Let's see a Hort is goated, just like our cool corner collector and Connor himself shows us just the way to do it. All right, and as well as that, folks, if you keep yourself up to date with my Twitter page on X, that's where the first footnote goes for everything relating to the podcast. When it's next going live, who's going to be rotated up there as to who is going to be the next one featured for the team, who's coming on as a guest speaker on the casting couch. Everything goes through that Twitter, including links to and being able to keep in touch with the socials from all the people that participate in this podcast. So please jump onto the X page, get a follow, get some notifications coming through from that Twitter page, and you'll be able to keep up on top with that, as well as being able to lock in your opinion for how you want the podcast to grow. I will be offering questions on that Twitter page multiple times to figure out who the next guest host will be coming onto the couch with me, who the next guest team could be being spoken to about the arena scene, or what topics you'd like to see discussed as a whole, whether it's kits, weapons, advice on how to set yourself up to go into a game of arena, or even just some tips and tricks on how to peak. We can prep you some clips up, we can bring this information to the screen for you, and we can talk you through it so you've got the best prep possible to enjoy yourself in the arena community to its fullest. And finally, last but not least, the YouTube channel has been up now with the 6 episodes we've ran so far, and it is going to continue growing. Each of these episodes for the podcast will be uploaded to YouTube within the week from when they go live, so that you guys can watch them back if you weren't able to catch it when it went down. Not only that, it allows us to measure whether you enjoy the performance. So as always, folks, like, subscribe, throw all the cheesy sellout hate in the comments below and tell us exactly how you don't like the fact that we have to market ourselves on the internet. But also, folks, it does potentially help pad the pocket and fix the metric that they tell us we have to follow, all right? It's an algorithm. And ladies and gentlemen, just like all the best gamers out there, we play the game, okay? Well, thank you all for being here. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Hot Sauce, to Mr. Ken, and to Stoney for their time in joining us here on the podcast tonight. And I'd like to offer all 3 of them from the mustache around final words before we say goodbye for the evening.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for allowing me to come on here and chat with you guys. Honestly, it's been a fun time. Chat's always great as well. And so, I'd love to hear. I don't know if this is a possibility, but as we close out, who everybody thinks is maybe going to win the ACS and the next upcoming HPL, as we get ready to close out. For me, I'd love to see a team other than CIS win ACS. So I've got my fingers crossed for Pandaric Apex and or EPA. HPL, I think, again, I want to see a different team win. So Pandaric Apex, I think, slightly better on paper. I've got EPA toppling them in the next HPL in a close series. So those are things I look for. But again, thank you for having me. Again, you can find out all of my socials and where I'm at just from my main website at hotsauce.com. But again, a great pleasure. Stony, Mr. Ken, very great dudes. Also streamers. Check them out. Make sure you guys give them a follow and share some of that love, because a lot of great individuals all the way around here in the community.
Lads, any final words from above?
Yeah, I would like to say to everyone, in regards to the next and up and coming games you've got, good luck, have fun. In regards to the ACS, I would definitely like to see that EPA on that #1 spot. Same for the HPL.
Okay,
EPA to win. EPA to win. But again, Cracks, thank you for having me on your podcast, allowing me to speak my mind, allowing me to say my experience. And it's been a wonderful experience. Thank you very much, guys. And make sure, keep them training going and make sure to have fun most of all. It's not all serious.
Ken, any final words? Ken, you're
He's
muted on
muted.
Discord.
Thank you.
He couldn't reach
Perfect. Yeah, no, the button was too far. I kicked it. You know, I used my leg to kick it, and I couldn't unmute.
it. Stoney's going to envy that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he can kick. Anyway. No, thank you for having me. This has been my first ever podcast. I thoroughly enjoy it. It has been a pleasure to speak with Hot Sauce. Awesome human being. Was also fun playing with him on Tarkov a few days ago. For ACS, I think Pandari Apex will win. For HPL, APA will win.
Ooh,
Absolutely
mixing
on that
it
one.
up.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, baby. Let's go.
Okay, so we've got some hot fans out there. We've got some real interesting topics. Well, I don't know, man. I think you guys are all cooking, but I mean, what can we say?
Tough to beat Virtus Pro.
It really is going to be tough to beat Virtus Pro. For me personally, all right, I actually don't mind which team takes it. Of course, Outcasts.epa should be the ones to be on top at the Arena Cup Series. And of course, Outcasts.epa are going to be the first place in HPL. But as much as we can dream about these things and we can be as overconfident about it as we like, it's going to play out on the pitch, and you guys are going to be able to watch it. So please don't forget to make sure you tune into HPL, the Hunt Premier channel, the LCL, and everything else that's going on in the competitive arena scene right now, so you can make sure that you don't miss it live. The best part about all of this action is being a part of the experience. There have been some amazing scenes created from down in the levels of skill where we sit ourselves in the tier list, all the way up to the likes of those at the EPA squad. All right, and there's many moments that you do not want to miss being a part of. So, for now, thank you for being here. Until next time, make sure you're enjoying yourself. Don't forget, it's just pixels. And finally, go Team OTC.
Let's go, OTC.
Let's go, OTC.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in us. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up. Tonight, we gonna light it up. Tonight, we gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we gonna light it up.
Alright folks, we're going to drop on out to go and see a friend of mine. This is Legend, who used to play a truckload of Escape from Tarkov base game in the tournaments back when we did some work with Shifty. Please join me in going and wishing a warm welcome and a hi to one of the best men that ever placed top 3 in a tournament without ever setting foot inside the mall on Interchange. That's right, let's go say hi to Legend and wish him a warm welcome from the Crack Wisdom Library and everybody joining in the podcast. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.